What's good, Council of Comics? It's episode 67 of the Film and Box Office News. We're going early tonight because it's Christmas Eve. Be back in 30 seconds.
What is good, Council of Comics? Welcome to the Film and Box Office News Live Podcast. Merry Christmas Eve for this December 24th Sunday special 1 p.m. edition. And did you know every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings? That's right. That's right.
Man, I can feel the energy flow. So intense how the energy glow. When my energy low, that's when my enemies show. I let my enemies know. I take my enemy's soul and burn my enemy's gold. Yeah, intense, amazing, Spider-Man villain, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, all the same villains. Jokers, goblins, Luther's the president, Catwoman, let the venom in. I'm dealing with these penguins that want me to kneel before Zod. It's a job for Castle. Through roads like a war machine to find Destro's castle. Xavier school filled with fools, teaching young mutants how to misuse the powers with which we all fuse. America's frozen in ice. Wonder Woman's disappeared into the night. So Wonder Girl wonders through the years, wondering why no one can explain the tears. Causing havoc, seduced by Madeline, lost in limbo with magic. Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes?
It's good, Council of Comics. I hope you enjoyed that less than 1080p version of that thing. Just a little preview. I've been working on some stuff, but that's a little fun stuff right there. Merry Christmas Eve. Welcome to episode number 67 of the Film and Box Office News Live Podcast, where we go over all the film and box office news and also review a special movie. And as always, the loyal council, Phil, Cliff, and of course, Green Shirt Guy is somewhere. He's going to watch the repeat of this and wonder where he's at.
He's with us in spirit, and I'm sure he's dreaming of us right now.
Las Cruces 1971 says hello from New Mexico. Hello, my friend. Hello. So, it's Christmas Eve. We wanted to do the show a little earlier because, we want to be able to spend time with family later. There will be no show tomorrow. No new keys and hot comics tomorrow. We're going to give the day off. We don't have to do this. We don't have to run this into the joy and fun of family stuff. Let people enjoy their fun and family stuff. And if, maybe people don't have family and joy stuff and they have to do this, then watch their video and give them love as well.
And you can watch our replays, and there are other people who are going live tomorrow that you can also watch, so that you have community waiting for you.
Yes, it's there as always. Let me just get through some of the beginning stuff. As always, Young at Heart Foundation. Good friend Mike runs this organization. They give out hope kits. They give a lot of hope and guidance to kids that are awaiting transplants or other medical procedures in California. To register to become a donor, just go to youngatheartfoundation.com. You can hit this button right here to register to become a donor. More than 100,000 people are waiting for a life-saving transplant. You can help by registering as an organ donor, or you can sponsor a Hope Kit, which is 100% tax deductible. They put a bunch of goodies in a box. They give it to the kids. They also set up some nice guests for people to come and see the kids as well. Kenneth Bird, hi to everyone is here today. Thank you, Kenneth Bird. Merry Christmas. But yeah, if you want to get in touch with Mike, reach him at 323-396-9998, or you can email him at info@youngatheartfoundation.com. Next up, Alternaverse. This is the shop where we do all our good stuff. We go get our comics. People go to get their cards. They go for tournaments. We do our filming there. It's owned by a great man named Anthony. He was the star of our last New Comic Book Day Christmas special. It's a wonderful comic book shop. If you haven't watched it, go watch the last New Comic Book Day. It's a fun time. Alternaverse is located at Hyde Park, New York, 870 Violet Avenue. You can call Anthony at 845-233-4234 or email him at alternaverse2@aol.com. The website is alternaverse.net. Remember, he has comics, cars, toys. He offers the Hudson Valley's best selection of comics. And if you start a pull list with him, you will start to get 20% off of all new books, comics, all that. And he also has card tournaments that go on every weekend, Pokemon, Lorcana, Magic, tons of tournaments. Give Anthony a call. He'll let you know when all those tournaments are. Alternaverse Comics in Hyde Park. And this is our channel. We're at 726, guys. Past that 725, we're at 726. Steady climbing. Steady climbing. If you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, please. If you're on Facebook, jump over to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit some likes on the videos. It helps us out. Like I said, New Comic Book Day is up. Episode number 79. It's our winter holiday special. Lots of fun. We also have a new Council Conversations that's up with me and Joey. We're talking about the Epic Nation story. I thought that was a good conversation. There's also a conversation in there with the rest of the guys about MCU talk, why kill them off. We also have our Toys for Tots 14th annual event is also up, so check that out. And then we have interviews with people like Joseph Leonard Sinat, right? I said it right?
No, Mark Sinat.
No. Listen, Cliff. The family of Joseph Leonard Sinat.
Oh, the
family.
You got it right.
Why, thank you. Also, Council FTR is up there as a new series. So go to our channel, click that subscribe button, and be a part of the fun.
By the way, I was
guys,
really
do anything
impressed.
else interesting? Go ahead.
It's Christmas. I don't even know. I was really impressed with Mark's artwork. I didn't realize that like of Joe's kids, like that's like Mark is the one who got the art, the art gene.
How many kids?
But it was really cool.
How many kids did he have?
There's Joe Jr., there's Mark, and I think there's 2 girls. But he had a few kids. And it's nice to see that, Dorian is writing. So it's nice. It's nice that there's talent coursing through the family.
Yes, very nice people. It was very nice. Josh had a nice little interview, and you had a nice little interview with the grandson. So put that up there. That's coming up. Not this week. That's coming up next week. So if you hit that like button on that, it'll notify you when it's coming on. All right, so not a lot this week, but one thing that did come out. What If Season 2? They are dropping an episode every day until New Year's. They've dropped 3 episodes so far.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it was an episode a week. So I was like, okay, episode 1 is all right.
Yep. There's an episode every day up until New Year's. There's 3 up right now, and they're great. Animation wise, they're even better.
Good. What's the second and the third?
The first one was Nebula. What if Nebula joined the Nova Corps, which was phenomenal. That was great off the bat.
I would not call it phenomenal.
I loved it.
It's good, but it's not like, oh my God, I'm blown away.
I'm talking about more like the art of the way it looks and everything.
The look is beautiful, but I mean, like, as far as like an adventure story, I was like, wow, this is hardcore procedural, like, like it was a vicious tone shift for me.
The second episode, trying to remember. Let me remember. Oh God, I can't remember. The second episode. Name some characters.
Scarlet
Was this-
Witch, Thor, Loki, Iron Man.
No. The third episode is What If Happy Hogan Saved Christmas?
Oh, that's cute.
So it's basically Die Hard Avengers Tower style, with some things going on. Let me look through this trailer because maybe I can see. Oh, the second one is What If Peter Quill battled the Earth's mightiest heroes?
Oh, right, because Ego is his father and he never left Earth, right?
Right. Well, the way this one goes is that Yondu does pick him up, but
Okay.
Yondu decides to give him to Ego in this one.
Oh.
So then Ego takes him and makes him into the god that he is, and it ends up that he's coming back to Earth. Peter Quill's come back to Earth because he wants to go back home to Missouri, to where his mom was and stuff. And this is in 1988, so they have to build an Avengers team that consists of Hank Pym, Ant-Man, Howard Stark, Carter, Peggy Carter, what was the other one? Lawrence Fishburne, Giant Man.
Yes.
He's in it. And Thor comes back. He's back. He's just regular Thor, Chris Hemsworth. And Black Panther T'Chaka, his father.
Ooh, the father.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Oh, and Winter Soldier, who is sent over by the Russian government because the Russians don't want the world to get taken over either. So they send the Winter Soldier to help out with that situation.
Oh, no.
But that was pretty good.
That actually sounds very interesting.
Kamari says, "Hey guys, Merry Christmas Eve." And Comic Cap Collectibles, hello y'all. Welcome. What were you gonna say, Phil?
I want to say that when you listed off that team up, I was like, that sounded like very familiar, like from a comic book somewhere.
Probably one of those new Avengers Beyond type stuff, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really good. I think the animation is even better than it was. Like last season was great, but this one is just top notch. And there was kind of like a through line with season one. There's not like a through line with the first 3 episodes so far. They're just like their own little individual stories so far.
Well, the first one, I felt like they were individual stories. But as we ramped closer to the end, it was like, yeah, Super Ultron is terrifying. Like I never expected the Zombieverse crap to come back, right? And then they literally used it to just as a way to distract Ultron.
My screen has gone out on me.
Oh.
At the most inopportune time. All right.
Is it coming back at all?
No, it's like very.
Or do you want me to share something?
Hold on. I'll come back in.
Okie dokie. Phil, did you watch anything fun?
Fun South Park.
How was that? I keep hearing things.
That's really good. I watched that, and I also watched Rebel Moon.
What did you think?
I thought it was very Zack Snyder, and if you didn't know it was Zack Snyder, like the fighting being slow as hell would like just tell you it. The other thing I thought was that it wasn't original at all. Like it was just.
Are you talking about Rebel Moon? I just popped
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, like everything, like Aquaman
Seems
2,
generic.
Aquaman 2, lackluster. Rebel Moon, generic, but in a Zack Snyder way. Like I give it finesse points, but not this is like this was not a knock me out of the park again. And again, I do believe that we really do have we really do have fatigue for our precious superhero and sci-fi genre, and I think we just need a break. I think that they need to just stop. Like, remember how much we love Star Wars when we only had 3 movies to talk about?
I know.
Right? And now what does it feel like? You know?
It's too much. Like, if they would have just did like maybe one Star Wars project, whether it's TV show or movie, a year, just one project that we can absorb.
Every 2 years is generous.
I mean, but they were giving us like 3 series a year, movies, rushed movies, and you know what? Speaking of Star Wars, Adam Driver did an interview, and they asked him about Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
and he said that they changed it. He's like, when I signed on to it, Kylo Ren was supposed to be the opposite of Vader. He was like, Vader started out in A New Hope like committed. Then by the end, he's like waning and doesn't know, or he's turning to the good. He said Kylo was supposed to be waning in the beginning, like he showed in The Force Awakens. He said, but by the 3rd movie, he was supposed to be fully committed to the dark side, pure evil. And I was like, he's like, but they changed it. I was like, what? How do you change that? That formula is brilliant.
I mean, it's a good villain formula. Listen, they blew it by being overly ambitious. And that's insane to have one really tight crew to do your first movie, right? You're not even quite done with the first movie, and you got another dude writing the second movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. They dropped the ball. They really, when they assembled everybody and they got all this excitement fired up, they really need to assemble people with the plan of a trilogy and not, I can only do the first movie, I'm going to step away. No. You are committing to a trilogy.
These are people that didn't really care about Star Wars.
Well,
I will include Rian Johnson in that as well. He didn't really care about Star Wars.
I think Rian Johnson does care about Star Wars. I just feel like,
Nope. Because if he cared, he wouldn't have did that to Luke. That's not what people wanted from Luke. I understand he's giving. Well, this is my interpretation. Yeah, but it's not about you, Rian Johnson. It's about the community that's been here for decades plus.
No, the people who don't care, were the editors, the producers, everybody who's supposed to say no to you. Those are the people who do not care.
I give you that as well.
I do think Rian Johnson cared. I know what Rian Johnson was doing. He was giving Luke a Yoda fate. I get that, and and of course what he wrote and what we get on screen, I'm sure there's a lot in between that, and let's not even get into the casino crap.
Yeah, but Luke.
But
from the jump, he had him throw the lightsaber. I was like, where is this going?
He wanted to seal the door. He wanted to seal the door on the Skywalker legacy and take Star Wars in a new direction. So much so that they were even going to give him his own Star Wars project. But then the horribly mixed reviews came in for this movie, and all that went out the door. Also, if he didn't care about Star Wars, why would he have been excited that he was going to get?
I'm not. Okay, he's excited as any person would be. You get offered a Star Wars job, you're going to get excited. Like, you're not going to be excited about that. But
if I didn't love Star Wars,
if the whole community sees, okay, what's the first thing? All right, I'm going to do the Star Wars movie. What came before this? There's hordes of community, and they are fanatical about their legends and stuff like that. Green Shirt Guy, what's good,
guy? Sorry, guys, I was baking cookies, and I lost track of time, so I apologize. I'm here.
It's all good. We're talking about Rian Johnson right now, whether he cares about Star Wars or not. In my opinion,
he did in his own way.
And he looked at, like, you sit down, like, okay, I look at all this canon, I look at everything that's before that's not canon. And what we see basically is that Luke, after Return of the Jedi, becomes like one of the greatest people, Jedi, because he's the only Jedi. He's looking to start the temple and all that stuff. But you turn him into a person that's going to murder his nephew for having the same thoughts that the grandfather had, that you didn't want to kill. You didn't kill your own father because of these things. but you're gonna pull the lightsaber out and murder your nephew because he's having these
They
issues.
intentionally gave us 2 versions of that scene so that we're supposed to really think what happened that night. But look,
I mean,
the
but
thing
both
is,
of them are true though.
right? And if both of them are true, right? But but he's like, "Oh my God, Luke was gonna strike me down in
Yeah,
that moment."
I
But
don't-
we don't really know that.
I don't think Kylo was lying about that. From his perspective, Luke was trying to kill him.
And from Luke's perspective, maybe he thought, "Oh my God, Kylo's going to get up and come after me." I'm just saying, listen, I like what he was going for, but it doesn't matter if I like what he's going for because all of it is a, I don't even know what you call it. It's sludge. It is sludge in the gutter that exists under the bridge. That's what it is now.
What were you gonna say, Green Shirt Guy?
I was gonna say, I think Ryan Johnson is like the guy who loves his wife but still beats her anyway.
Oh,
That's
my goodness.
horrifying.
That's horrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Listen, I feel like I look, I understand
I
what he
think
was
if
doing.
you can be abusive and still love somebody, but I don't think what he did to the franchise was
Well, and again, we act
Good.
like it was his hand alone. And it wasn't. There's
Oh
lots
yes,
of people who
Kathleen.
could've said
I
no.
I don't
Kathleen
dis-
Kennedy loved it
I
though.
don't
She was like,
disagree
"Yes,
with
this
that
is what
at
we're
all.
gonna do."
I will support you 100% because I've said that. We talk about this with comics all the time where
Yes.
covers, interiors, storylines, whatever, and you're like, how did this happen? And you're like, well, then they blame the writer, or they blame the cover artist, or they blame the
make the
interior
artist take the blame.
They blame the interior artist. It's like, well, yeah, you can blame them. However, they're for hire, and there are many people who signed off on it before it went to print. So don't blame them after it went to print, because all these people said it was okay, and now you're going to blame now they all went, no, we didn't. It's all them. That's BS.
Kathleen Kennedy, as soon as he said, "And I'm gonna kill Luke Skywalker," she was like, "Yes, you're it. Bring the paperwork out. Let's
Correct.
do this." But why? Can we talk about that for a second? Why would she feel like that?
Because
you need a new chapter, and this is why I was like, we don't need another freaking Harrison Ford movie. He is 80.
Well,
I'll
I'll put it in Kathleen Kennedy's perspective then. Okay, Miss Kennedy, let's put it in perspective that you will understand. You have been an executive for so and so amount of time. We eventually want to bring in a new executive for a new line. So what we're going to do is dirty up your name, make you look like trash, then kick you out and murder you so we can bring this new executive in. Is that how we want to do it?
No, but I don't feel like that was exactly what was. I don't know if that was exactly what was proposed. We don't know if that was
I
exactly.
think that was proposed that way.
that's how we want to do it.
But
I
I
think
believe
corporate signed off that all this looks good to us. It looks like
Yeah.
$1 billion movie to me.
Yeah, I
And
believe.
they kicked,
I
and it
I
was,
believe-
and they
Yeah,
loved
I
every
believe
minute of
corporate
it.
Heard, let's shift, right? Let's pivot in a new direction, right? And let's start closing the door on this other stuff. That's what I think they heard, and then they saw what they got, and they were like, "Oh,
Yeah. And then let's Rise of Skywalker, like, oh my God.
yeah."
Oh
big-
Here's my
God.
thing with Rise of Skywalker.
Band-aid.
Rise of Skywalker, to me, is less of a betrayal than Last Jedi, and here's why I say that. Rise of Skywalker has its moments that are great, but the problem for me with Rise of Skywalker is it would have been a better movie. It was a 3-hour movie, but they didn't want to do that. Rise of Skywalker suffers from being a 2-hour movie where you never get a chance to sit with any moments because they're constantly having to fix a bunch of things. So because they have to fix stuff, you never get to sit with anything. It's constantly going, okay, we got to there. Now we got to go to this. Now we got to go to this. Now we got to do this. So at no point do you get to enjoy anything. It's too fast of a movie, if that makes sense.
Like, I love the beginning.
I
Where
love
he's
the stuff with
going
Lando,
through,
but I don't think it's long enough.
He goes to Exegol and he's having
Yes.
the talk with the Emperor. I love that whole part.
It's great, but
You know what I mean?
but it's there's no at no point do you get to enjoy any of that because it's bang bang bang.
Yeah,
and you have to
there
get to
was
the
no
next scene.
how did you come back?
Right.
There was this. He just repeats the same line from Revenge of the Sith, and I'm just like, no, we need to know how you came back. Like, we need to know that. Whether it's a quick little talk about it, like once I was thrown down the shaft by the father.
Yeah, but I mean, they show us. Actually, no, they visually show us how he's back. We see all the cloning tubes.
Right.
Yeah, that's alluded to though.
I listen. We constantly argue about good exposition. That was good exposition, right? You saw.
I'll give you that. I'm not.
You know, this way.
But the tubes were not of him though. The tubes were of Snoke.
Because
because they were
failed versions of him.
Correct. They're failed clones. Absolutely.
Is that what Snoke is? Incomplete versions of him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought Snoke was possibly
Anthony has
a combination of him and Luke, though.
Anthony's always had this theory that at least in that universe, and especially it's kind of almost supported in that last movie, that the plan was to create a clone that he could then jump out of that body spiritually and jump into a younger version of a younger body.
Which was like the book.
Which is like, what he was going to do anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why he wanted Luke, and that's why he wanted Rey, because I just need to be around so I can jump into this other body that's in a better shape than the one I have, because I'm young, it's younger and faster, whatever, and I can continue on. But never got that far.
Yeah.
But they never fully explained that in the movies. They just kind of jump past it.
Snoke was such a great character that I feel was wasted, man.
He was good. I think that you didn't get enough of Lando. I love that stuff with Lando, but I don't think we get it. It was nice, but we didn't get enough of it. And it was like, well, we have to throw this in here so we can get somewhere else. I also think they wasted the Knights of Ren.
Oh, tremendously.
The design on those characters is amazing, and they all
tremendously.
And what about what's her face, the super stormtrooper? What the hell was that?
Phasma.
Absolutely.
Man.
But that echoes Boba Fett. To me.
It does, but in the worst of ways.
Oh, I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Like Phasma, her armor is made out of Amidala's plane.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's deep.
Like
I just
there was
what
so much
pissed me off with the Knights of Ren is they're supposed to be Kylo Ren's contemporaries, right?
Yeah.
So clearly, even if they weren't fully trained by Luke, they're his guys that he would have been building up, and he goes through them like a hot knife through butter. They all die like bitches in about 5 minutes. Like, really?
Oh, that reminds me of episode 3.
Stand up to him, and he kills them all. They're all attack him like.
You talking about the senators when they come to get him?
Senator just annihilates the most powerful Jedi we've ever seen, and he annihilates all of them except for Mace.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, all of Star Wars has a lot of garbage moments to really drag it down.
Oh yeah, it does.
But the high moments are
the high moments are the best.
I was
this last trilogy, its high moments are crushed by its bad moments.
Well, get ready. There's a new trilogy coming.
Well, hopefully it's a real plan.
Who knows what they're gonna do with that, man? First of all, you have to get a new villain. You can't bring back any of these old villains. You need a new villain.
If only there was a bunch of old comics or something or books that they could use to pick up villains and just write new interpretations of them. If only they
or they could just take all their old villains and monsters and make them zombies. It's a done deal.
But they did that.
They
did that with Ahsoka.
Get Zack Snyder to direct that.
It's not like we have any stories to go off, Cliff. I mean, it's
just
really
make them all zombies.
Listen, the episode 10 starts filming in March. That means they have a story.
Doesn't mean it's a good story.
Well, listen, the Jedi Academy series.
That doesn't mean they have a story.
Thank you, Phil.
If they take Jedi Academy and tweak it to Rey, and just stick with that formula, and have people who can actually produce a quality product, I think it'll be nice.
Do you think they should bring in the Yuuzhan Vong as the villains?
I mean, I don't know, but I would like it. I
'Cause they were
remember
huge in the books. that you
from
saw
what I
them all.
remember of Jedi Academy, I remember it being pretty good. I remember I like the characters, and I feel like that would make, if we're gonna do Rey and a temple, I feel like let's take the core of that, adjust it to Rey, and proceed in that direction.
Next question, does Grogu appear in this movie?
No.
Where's
No,
what would Grogu be?
I don't know, but I feel like if he showed up in the second one, I wouldn't be too upset.
Yeah, I don't want to say no. I don't want to say no. I don't want to say like, what's the story? Like,
So
Now,
it would
mind
be like 40 years after the Mandalorian series.
But he would very much be alive.
Oh yeah, he'd be like probably be prime, ready to go, like 100 years old, like Yoda was at 100. He was a
Well,
Jedi
900
master.
Yoda was.
Yeah, but
Looks so good for
Mandalorian
you
should be
now
dead.
when you reach this age.
He would be dead. The Mandalorian probably by
Yeah.
then. So I
But,
mean,
I
it
mean,
would
we
make
could-
it would make sense that Rey or them would seek each other out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
then you got
would
Ahsoka, and that's in the other galaxy. So if they don't bring her back for the Filoni movie, which I think they will, I believe Ahsoka's character is known for living longer years, so she could be a part of it as well. If they don't kill her off. But I'm just trying to come up with ideas because I don't know what they would do. I don't know what they would
the
do.
thing is, there's lots that they could do, and there's plenty of good stories that exist that they can adapt for their current cast. They just need to put in the effort.
Do you bring Boyega back as a Jedi? Being
I
Jedi?
like-
It won't happen. He wants.
You don't think
nothing
so?
to do with- he
No,
wants
he said
nothing to
in
do with
recent
the character.
interview about a couple weeks ago, he had a change of mind. He said, I'm open to it now.
Well,
Yeah.
I know that, and I don't know what happened before, because I mean I don't, but I know that he had such a bad taste in his mouth after the last movies. I have a feeling he wants nothing to do with this franchise.
No, he can do it. It's just that
What up, Sean Murphy?
remember his bad experience, as many of the actors' bad experiences from this movie, was when the public went after them and personally attacked them for their distaste in the new Star Wars movies. Disney did absolutely nothing. Didn't warn them, didn't protect them, didn't stand up for them. Nothing.
Well, that's we've talked about that a number of times.
Yeah.
Not just with this franchise. You know what I mean, I don't disagree, but
I think people need to remember that for the leading actors of the first two movies alone, the leading actors of the first two movies alone, the fandom was absolutely savage.
Mm-hmm.
And any of them who were left with displeasure, distaste, disenfranchisement, whatever, there was good reason for that.
Like the Boyega thing was such a big, like you set us up for him eventually to become that Jedi. You even gave him like he loses in the first movie, he gets hurt. So you figure by the third movie, he's going to be ready to go. And it just goes the complete opposite direction. Like he doesn't even say he's like force sensitive in the movie. The third movie is just alluded to at the end. So it's like,
But if you remember, I mean, there's that. But if you remember, Poe Dameron was supposed to be a bit character and gone after the first movie.
True.
So
True.
a lot of things happen as you evolve these things.
All right. I think that's enough Star Wars talk. Get everybody riled up. There's no box office yet, but what we do have is I wanted to go over the yearly box office. 2023 worldwide box office.
Man, that Oppenheimer is so close.
This is your top 10. Hold on a second. Sean Murphy says, didn't hear the start. Everything Star Wars related from Rebel 1. Rogue One, I think he's talking about. On is garbage, Disney trash. Solo was the only okay story we actually wanted. I like Solo.
I like Solo a lot. I think Solo suffered from no promotion whatsoever.
Yeah, they were afraid. Is
And
what it was.
it's also was too close to was it Infinity War or Endgame? I think it was Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
It was like a month after Infinity War. Like
I think it
Yeah.
was like Infinity War and Deadpool 2, and there was a lot in there for that little.
it was
chunk
too
of the
close
summer.
to two. I mean, the schedule was terrible. But yeah, it got no promotion whatsoever.
Yeah.
Almost like they're like,
Uh,
I guess we're putting a Star Wars movie out.
So what we got
I
here?
gotta tell you, look at
Barbie
this
tops
list and
the charts, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, look at this list, and I want John Wick to be higher.
I mean, it's a lot for John Wick, though. 440 million.
It is no, and it's probably didn't cost them, but maybe 200 to make. So
Maybe even less.
You
I don't
know-
think his has cost that much. Go ahead, Phil.
I've seen a bunch of these.
I've
so-
seen most of them.
I didn't see Super Mario Brothers yet. I didn't see Oppenheimer.
That's the Oppenheimer I haven't seen.
I didn't see a lot of these. I didn't see
You know,
Fast
I didn't
X.
see Oppenheimer. I didn't see Little Mermaid or Mission Impossible. The rest of them I've seen.
Yeah, I saw Transformers. I saw John Wick. I saw Ant-Man. I did not see Elemental.
I didn't see Elemental yet. I didn't see
Elemental's
Mission
okay.
Impossible.
I think I mentioned this back when we talked about it when it was first released. And RJ gave me his, because my wife took my boys to go see it, and he gave me his review, and his review was it's okay, but it's not great. And I having seen it on Disney Plus, he's right. It's a vanilla Pixar movie. It has all the elements you expect from a Pixar movie, but it doesn't quite get there. There's a couple moments that I really like from it, but overall, I don't think the ending's earned. The animation's amazing. It looks gorgeous, but the story's like meh.
Sean Murphy said, "Did anyone watch the John Wick related TV series, The
I did. It
Continental?"
was good. I liked it a
Green
lot.
Trigger. I have not. I gotta watch it. 3-hour
worth it.
episodes, right?
Yes. I think the longest one is just over an hour, and there's one of them that's like under an hour. But yeah, altogether, it's about 3 hours.
Hmm.
I recommend it. It's good. I liked it.
So, what was everybody's favorite movies of this year?
On that list.
Well, Dungeons and Dragons is high for me.
Godzilla -1.
Godzilla minus one
Probably
might
my
be-
number one movie of the year.
That
It was
probably-
gonna be that and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and
Yes.
I thought about it, and I think Godzilla is better than the Spider-Man movie. Now that I thought about it.
Really? That's a big
Wow.
call there, Phil.
I don't. I mean, it's definitely my bias. I prefer Across the Spider-Verse, but there's no denying that Godzilla minus one is an absolutely phenomenal film, and like
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
I
out of
would have to
everything, it's
say-
not on the list, but I would say Godzilla -1 would be my.
Yeah.
my
I would
favorite
say
movie
Across
that
the
I saw.
Spider-Verse is my favorite movie. And number two would be Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I like that one a lot too.
Number 3 for me would be Transformers. I really like Transformers.
Scroll down this again. I just want to see what. I mean, I know there's a bunch of movies that didn't make any money, but I was if there's something in here that didn't make money that I really, really loved.
Blue Beetle was a great movie.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Shazam! Fear of the Gods was not that bad either. Honestly, that movie was pretty good.
Oh,
The
wish I
way
wanna
people
see it,
hate
but I
on that
haven't seen
movie.
I know.
I mean,
I liked Haunted
Air
Mansion.
was good.
I did
I
like
liked
Haunted
Air.
Mansion.
Cocaine Bear was fun.
Cocaine Bear was fun.
I mean, am I the only one that's going to give John Wick some love? I really liked that movie.
Oh, John Wick was he's probably like my 4th or 5th best movie of the year.
In the movies that I saw this year, it's tough. I mean, I really like that. I really like Guardians. The Spider-Man movie was good. It's one of those three. It's probably what I'm in the mood for on a given day. One of those three.
All right, so what's
I don't
Fast
know.
everybody?
Movie
X
was
was
good.
fun too. I really like Fast X. Fast X, and I will say Momoa really showed his chops in that movie. I mean, it's a silly Fast and Furious universe movie, but it highlights to me, and might even said this in the shop, that if DC completely reset their universe, said none of the stuff that happened before worked, we're gonna start from scratch, and went with a Batman movie and made him the Joker, 100% is the best Joker I've seen since Heath Ledger.
Which Joker?
The way he plays the villain in the Fast and Furious movie, he's 100% the Joker.
Oh, gotcha.
He's amazing in that movie.
Gotcha. Worst movie of the year.
Did I see
What was your worst movie of the year?
Hold on,
I'm gonna say
it's probably in here.
The Flash. It's the worst movie.
Yeah.
Of the year.
I still haven't
Yeah, The Flash. You're right. I was gonna like.
I
Oh,
don't
Such
know if Flash is
disappointment.
the worst because there's still things I enjoy in there.
I still haven't seen it.
There's things. Well, there's always things you enjoy in a movie, but I mean, like at the end of the
but I
movie,
mean,
when the movie
I mean,
ends,
the movie
the
is a bad
disappointment that
Flash
comes after Flash, it's just bad.
I'm
like,
judging the movie as just the movie. We got a lot of good stuff this year, and
It
then, of
is
course,
good. Yeah, we did.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff. I
Hunger
did not
Games was
see.
great, man. Hunger Games was in my top 10 this year. Hunger Games was great. Ant-Man and the Wasp was good to me. Creed 3
I'll
was
tell you what
good.
the worst movie experience I had of the year was, and it's not necessarily
What?
the movie's fault, was Barbie.
Why was it the worst experience?
So when I went and saw, I remember when I first moved down here, and I went to the mall, and I don't know if any of the other malls still do this. There was a sign when you would walk in, and it would said after, I think it was 7:00, you're not allowed in the mall without an accompanying adult. So never really haven't thought about that for years. Go to see the movie, and we're in the theater, and I don't know how best to say this without sounding like an old crotchety a-hole, but trying to watch the movie, and there's kids running around, throwing things at the screen, leaving, running back, running up and down the aisle, screaming at the screen, can't hear the movie in parts. So I'm going, what happened to that rule? Because you're now allowing that to happen. With that said, I will not go back to Regal in the Galleria again until that gets fixed.
Yeah, I would
will
go
not
back
go
and
see
get my
another
money
movie there
back.
ever.
I'd be like, yeah, I'd like my money back for this movie.
Could have,
You know what I mean?
could have, didn't.
Shout out to the Rook King. The Tom Cruise movies are doing very well. I don't know what list you're watching there, Rook King. Maybe he is the king of Hollywood.
Mission Impossible's number 8.
right, yeah.
Yeah, but
just because
it's supposed to be a $1
underperformed
billion
as-
movie, Mission Impossible.
Well, only because
Let's
he's a
look that.
psychopath, but otherwise,
So is like the Marvels, and that's down under the trench too. So
Yeah, right. Oof.
The Marvel
you know
ones
what's
are-
funny is of the movies in theaters, I don't really have a worst because everything I saw, I guess I'm gonna have to give it to Flash. But even then, I'm not sure if Flash or Aquaman deserves it.
I'll tell you what, it was my surprise favorite movie of the year. Having said all that, is Dungeons and Dragons.
Thank you.
No expectation going into that movie. Loved it.
I really enjoyed it, and I tell people
Oh,
about it
so
all
what's
the
Loved
time.
that movie. Had no expectations going into it. Jonathan.
Jonathan, I love it. Jonathan.
Break.
So there's the worldwide box office for the movies this year. Which one do you guys think? In the audience, leave your comment.
Larry
Leave your-
said Transformers.
Transformers is great.
Yeah,
I love Transformers.
Transformers, okay.
Yeah. Can't wait for the next one. All right. So your homework for today, Council, was to watch the wonderful can't use that word again.
Classic.
The classic movie It's a Wonderful Life with James Stewart. We call him Jimmy. and Donna Reed and Lionel Barrymore, who we might think is in a relation to Drew.
Is
Barrymore.
he Potter?
He is, isn't he? He's
I don't know, that's
Drew's
what I'm saying.
grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a classic. This is from 1946.
So great.
And I'm watching it. And I told Kamari this. I was like, the cameras back then were phenomenal too. Like if you look at the film, I'm like, wow, the cameras back then were great. Yeah, it's in black and white, whatever, but the clarity of it, you know what I mean? You know how we film some things sometimes in the phones, or you transfer it from like iPhone to Galaxy, and it gets that graininess like that. You would think that's something from back there, but their filming was phenomenal.
I mean, the film has been retouched since its release
several times.
I'm sure it's not that far off from this, though.
I mean, I'm watching it on a 4K TV, on a 4K upscaling DVD, and it looked good, but I didn't, I'm not going, oh wow, this looks like I'm sitting, it's a piece of glass I'm sitting on the other side of,
Well, I'm not saying it's HD, like I'm just saying it from a perspective of filming. Like I film and I'm like, shit, I'd use one of those cameras.
That wasn't what impressed me. What impressed me was the writing. The writing is so crisp and no line is wasted, no scene is wasted. Everything builds on the scene before it to get you to the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I also was
so
thinking
this
about
is
this
about
while watching it. This is a movie much like The Christmas Carol. I think we all take for granted that these are made up stories that nobody made before. And now we're how many years later, it's been done over so many times because it's so well done that you don't think to yourself that, oh, of course this is, Christmas Carol. It's a Wonderful Life type story. But somebody created that story at some point. You know what I mean? Like what was Christmas before these?
I wonder if there were any stories that were like this. And this, I wonder what inspired this story, because there's nothing new under the sun, right? There's something that has inspired somebody to write a story. And I'm wondering if there's any classic stories where, what if you didn't exist? How would the world be? You know what I mean? I'm wondering what kind of inspiration they had. So basically, guys, this is about an angel sent from heaven to help a desperately frustrated businessman by showing him what life would have been like if he had never existed. Which I think is I don't know, because the whole movie, that's only 15 minutes of the movie right there. That's the last 15 minutes.
That's not a great description, but okay.
Yeah, that's like the last 15 minutes of the movie.
So you know how you watch those things, or you see those things online where it's give the worst synopsis of a movie ever? Okay, you think of one for this? Mine was
worst synopsis for this.
How nepotism ruins a town. Because the uncle should have been fired years ago.
Yeah.
And if it's not for the uncle, all of this stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is like something I noticed watching. It's like, yeah, I think that guy just got away with stealing $8,000.
Pretty much. Well, he didn't.
And I don't even think, did he really steal it? I mean, he literally puts it in his lap.
Correct. Well, Mr. Potter, you're talking. I'm talking. The uncle gets away with misplacing money.
Yeah. And like he literally, it's not even like he stole it. He literally put it in his lap.
Yes.
I was just like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yep.
In any other job, you're fired. Like you're definitely done.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that like James Stewart as a business person probably wasn't the best.
Well, how bad is the uncle too? Because if you remember early in the movie, when the father dies, they weren't even going to even let the business keep going unless Jimmy Stewart took it over.
Yeah.
George Bailey.
They were like, all right, well, unless you'd agree to stay, we're all going to vote to let it dissolve.
Yeah. So this movie just starts off with, I guess their CGI from back in the days with the angels talking, and it just lights up, kind of like the avatar on the screen when you're not there.
How about?
And,
yeah, go ahead.
well, he's explaining. Well, one of the angels, Clarence, hasn't gotten his wings yet, so he has to get his wings. So they're gonna send him to help George Bailey. And so they have to show him George Bailey's life. So they do like a quick little thing of his life, show him as a kid. Deep, man, when he was working. I love the scene where he's working in the shop and then the two girls are in there and stuff.
When
That's
he
a great
gets smacked
scene.
around is a great scene.
Yeah, when he's smacking him, I'm like, oh my God, he's really smacking this
And
kid
then-
around. Like,
I mean, tell me that the actor that plays Mr. Gower doesn't earn his paycheck in this movie.
which one? Mr.
He's the
Gower?
guy that's smacking him around, and then
Oh
realizes
yeah.
the look in his eyes when touches the poison to his tongue, and then all of a sudden it clicks. I mean, he does. It's such subtle acting, but he does such a great job of realizing in like 2 seconds what's going on. He just sells that scene with his eyes, and immediately starts hugging George. He's like, "I'm really sorry," that whole thing.
I mean, he hit him so hard his
Which
ears started
brings us
bleeding.
back, you can love someone and be abusive.
There you go.
Thank you, It's a Wonderful Life.
That is not love, my friends. We may think it's love, but that is not love. So they show that scene, then they jump immediately. Well, no, they jump to him saving his brother falling in the lake.
I think his brother's before, actually.
Brothers before? Okay, so his brother falls
next
in the
scene, I
lake.
think, is
That's
the
why his
one
ears
where-
all messed up.
Yeah,
because
he's
he got
buying-
sick.
I think the
Yeah.
next one is when he's buying the suitcase and he does I want the big one.
Yeah,
You see,
yeah.
and they do that pause, and you're like, it doesn't look grainy.
yeah. So, and then they have this thing, I guess, where they're working for the family business, and George is supposed to go off to college. But the father dies or has a stroke. So they, like you said, they end up voting George in, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll take it. And he sends the brother to college, as said.
Well, because they had money for one of them.
Yeah, so he sends the brother to college, but then the brother comes back and he's ready to go off, but then he realizes that his brother could have a better life because his wife's father had offered him a job and all this other stuff. So he sacrifices again. Then he meets up with Mary. I like that one scene where he meets up with Mary, because remember back in the shop as a kid, she goes, George Bailey, is this the ear that you can't hear it? I'll love you forever.
Yeah. He's making violent love to me, mother.
Oh, that was wild. I was like,
that scene.
what? Could you imagine in 1946?
I also
They'd
love
be
the
like,
scene before that where they go to they're at the dance, and the guy sitting on the porch, he goes, "Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?" He's like, "What? You want me to kiss her?" He goes, "Oh, the youth is wasted on the wrong people." And walks in his house.
Yeah, so he ends up eventually falling for Mary. I guess the scene where they're in Mary's house and they're like face to face, and he's like sniffing her hair while on the phone with the other guy from New York, and he just grabs her. It's like, sugar, don't I get to pick what I want to do?
Well, and she's the whole time trying to recreate the swimming pool scene. She puts the music on. She's got the flowers or whatever. She's trying. Oh, I do like you. She's trying to be subtle about it. He gets.
She's setting the mood.
Right. He gets.
She
none
breaks
of it 'cause
the
he's a
record.
guy
When
like
she
all
breaks
of
the
us.
record, she's like,
Yes.
I'm like, whoa,
Yes.
settle down.
And the whole time he's like, I don't even know who told you I was coming here. I just happened to be walking by.
Yeah. So they end up getting married, and then on the day they get married, they're going off for their honeymoon, and it comes to find out that there's something going on at the building and loan.
Dad dies, right? Isn't that the day the dad? No, you're right.
No,
No,
he's
their honeymoon. They're going to their honeymoon.
This is the part I didn't get. Like, something happened where they didn't have money at the building and loan, and people were trying to get their money
The bank. There was a run on the bank.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then which I think, I don't know if that's the pre-Depression War era. There's a run on the bank, so the savings and loan is not a bank in the traditional sense. So people are like, well, I'm gonna at least go get my money from here before I can't.
Yeah.
So that's why they go there. And he's like, look, we don't have it. We only have,
Yeah. Meanwhile, scenes before, they're flashing all this money that they've gotten from their wedding. I guess the people have given them. So they end up using that money. So George and his wife basically have to sacrifice again
Right.
for other people, and they fix that problem, and he actually becomes a very big person. Like, he doesn't have a lot of money, but he helps people build their houses. Like, it was once a little thing. He built Bailey Park, and it grew into this big thing where even the banks were afraid of him. Like,
he's a land magnate now. Well, and even you're right, because the accountant for Potter's like, you should not. And they even see him says something along the lines of, you can't ignore this Bailey Park anymore because it's not. Yeah,
it's getting big and stuff like that. And I guess it's something that we would want nowadays. We would want people like that nowadays that would go we want you to own a house and this and that, but it's totally not like that nowadays. But
no, we wanted people who existed like that then too, and that's why we have fiction.
Yeah,
that's why we have It's a Wonderful Life.
Exactly. So I guess the final straw is that day where the uncle is taking the money to the bank. It's $8,000.
As the brother's going to show up into town because he's a warhead.
Yeah, he's going to show up in town. He's a warhead. He loses the money.
Well,
somebody.
He sets the money down, and then Potter takes it.
And Potter takes it. Yeah.
It casts the uncle in a poor light again because he's an idiot. But he also takes more time to try and stick it to Potter, and that's why he forgets the money. Because remember, he says, you can keep those Bailey boys down, and he's trying to basically stick it in his face, and then he forgets the money.
Yeah. So he's this is where his acting becomes superb. Like, he makes you feel like you're in a bind with him, and he goes to Potter, and then Potter offers him like
jail
$20,000, right? Like, it was like
3 years before this. It was before he loses the money.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's when about the time he gets married, he gets offered the money.
Yeah. So then he goes back to him for him to save him. But I'm trying to think. He refuses to do it, right?
He does.
Yeah.
He's like,
he's gonna call the police. He's gonna call the police for put him out of business, which is what he wanted.
Yeah. So he goes off. He goes drinking. He crashes his car into a tree.
Yep.
He goes to the bridge, and this is where Clarence the Angel comes in, and Clarence jumps into the river just so George will go save him. And he figures out, oh, well, this is the way that you're gonna figure it out. You're not gonna know. You're gonna know what it's like that you didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when the true movie begins. An hour and a half into it. So he goes back to the town. The town's it's named Pottersville. The bar is changed to Nick's Bar.
Everything's a go-go / nude dancers on the main street. Like everything.
Yeah.
Which
Harry never survived his accident on the ice water.
In the ice water, he never survived it.
He never survived it. Like in the war, he saved he ends up saving like a whole battalion or something.
Yes.
Since he didn't survive in the ice, that whole battalion dies. Like,
he never stopped Mr. Gower from poisoning the kids.
Yeah, so he spent 20 years in prison.
Yep.
The bartenders become a dick, though.
Yeah. What's wild to me, and let me just say this. I love this movie. This is one of the ones that I watch every year. But I was thinking about it today. So you take him out of the story, right? And we're assuming that everything still happens the way it's supposed to. Or it happens the same way, just with him out in it. Him without it, not in the story. That's not how life works. If one of us were not involved in our own story, a lot of things would change. It wouldn't still go this way. Maybe the parents
mean?
don't. What I'm saying is he's the oldest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now Harry would be considered the oldest. What's to say the parents don't have a second son and he saves him in the water?
Oh, well, yeah.
All these things.
I guess.
I'm fine with it because for a movie, but we're to assume that because he's not there, the world continues in the exact same order. All these situations come up, but he's not around to be there for them. Not really how things
What's
work.
the
but it's
simplicity of it? You know what I mean?
Right.
You
It's
could- you
fine.
But you know what? We have no practical way of knowing that. Because we don't have omnipotent and unlimited. We don't have omniscient knowledge and omnipotence and superpowers to snap a finger and be like, let's see it, George. Let's see how we do.
I'll give you that. And again, this is just me nitpicking, and I love this movie, so whatever. I'm with you, Cliff. I'm just saying.
Maybe Clarence, in his limited wisdom, was like, all right, somewhere in the multiverse, everything played out, but you're not there. This one,
Right.
let's go.
Okay. Fair. How about the scene where he goes home right after he retraces the steps with Uncle Willie, and he goes home and just is a complete dick to everybody in the family.
Oh yeah,
Screams-
it changed like
screams
your
at
whole
the dog for
mood.
playing the piano.
Why are
I
you
don't know how
playing
to
that
spell
for?
anything.
Wait, why you keep playing that for?
Right. I don't know how to spell anything. Go ask your mother.
Yeah.
He basically he's the only one he's kind of not a complete jerk to is the youngest one, but that's only because whatever.
I mean, but if you think about it, his whole life is about to be ruined for something he didn't do.
Correct.
And he's been
Well,
trying
he
to
even
help
says that to the
everybody
uncle.
all his life.
Remember,
Yeah.
he says that to the uncle. One of us is going to prison, and it's not going to.
It's not going to be me.
Yeah.
So eventually he sees the error of his ways.
Well, he sees the error of his ways when he finally sees the wife.
Yeah, the
all the
wife
other
is.
stuff
They
bothers
called her
him.
an old maid, and she
Right.
never married.
Right. He's
Um,
bothered by everybody else, and it's weird to him. But he sees that the wife became who she is, and well, now that's a bridge too far.
Well, the minute she didn't recognize him,
It was that too.
right? It's like Mary doesn't recognize me. That and again, him being the actor that can sell that, right?
Yeah.
Like the pain that he's experiencing because she doesn't even recognize him.
Right.
You know,
Remember the
like
pain
that.
she's feeling in that moment too. This random guys.
Yeah, no,
Rush
she's
come up and
absolutely
grabbing her.
terrified. She's absolutely terrified, and she's feeling harassed and borderline assaulted. She's running.
Yeah.
Like,
So he runs back to the bridge where it all started, and I love how he's like, I just wanted to go back, and then the snow starts falling.
It's also before
Yeah.
that. It's also a classic case of Hollywood just putting glasses on a woman and putting her hair up to make her ugly.
right? Like, cause she's a good-looking
She's
woman.
She's still good looking there.
And he ends up coming back to his senses and reality, and it's the famous scene of him running through the city. Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls! Merry Christmas, Taylor! And he's super happy to see everybody. He gets home, and the
I'm gonna be
cops are
arrested.
waiting
Isn't
for
it wonderful?
Yeah, the cops are waiting for him. The bank assessor is waiting for him. But Mary, who is the hero of the movie, Mary
Kinda.
is the hero of the movie.
Kind of.
Because
Well,
while all this is going on, she's doing work. And she put in phone calls. She got all the people to come together because they said George is in trouble and he's helped all you guys. So, it's only right that you guys come in to help him. And then he just gets help from everywhere. He even gets a telegram from the guy from New York City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like,
every year that's the part that gets me and I start crying.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody else
$25,000,
cries,
so
but
he's
that
never
part
gonna
makes me
have a problem again. Basically,
Well,
is
yeah,
what-
because he gets
By the way,
telegram.
$25,000 in 1946 is almost $400,000 today.
He gets
Yeah.
a call. Yeah, but he gets the telegram because Mr. Gower called him. And that gets me every single time. That even all these years later, Mr. Gower's like, no, I got to take care of this kid. And it
Yeah.
makes me cry. I'm going to cry now. It makes me cry every year.
But
It makes
Oh,
me
I
cry every single time.
yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Mary because Mary put in that work while George is having his mental crisis going on.
Who's the guy? You know how you see everybody walking up and throwing money, forward. There's a guy walks up something, tears it, and says,
That's
and
the
walks
cop
away.
with the warrant. That's
Oh,
the
is
warrant.
that who it is? Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't figure out who that was, and I should know this at this point. I've seen this movie enough times.
yeah. And then
I was gonna say,
famous-
Sam
Go
brings up an important point. For a 1946 film, Mary, the wife, is painted very well throughout the movie.
Yes.
yeah,
You know,
she put the house together.
Well, she's
No,
in
She
yeah,
fixed the house.
they do not underplay her value to the story
Yeah.
or the person at any point.
correct.
You know, and this
Yeah,
is part of why I
she
love
took
Donna
care
Reed.
of the kids, right? She took care of all the kids. She fixed up the whole house because remember he was working all day, coming home late. So she
Well,
was
she
the one
gets the
fixing it.
house.
She gets the house. she's like the hero. And
Well, and,
yeah,
I
she's
mean,
the hero.
they do make her fully equal partners because he may have been the businessman with the savings and loan, but there's that scene where they're giving someone their new house, and she's the here's bread that you may never starve. Here's
Yes,
this,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so
yeah,
she's
that was
there
good stuff.
every time they sell a house too.
Yeah. And she's the one that came up with we have this money that we can
Yes.
save. You know what I mean? So she's a
Yeah.
true hero. Was this aggressively relaxing? Says Frank Capra is another example of World War II propagandists using their talents to make a
propagandists.
morality tale that shaped American culture, like his contemporary Stanley, Dr. Guess, Adams, etc. Shots fired.
I mean, he's not entirely wrong, but
He's not.
But the movie's still a good movie.
It's like, let's put it this way, Passion of the Christ. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Mel Gibson. You know what I mean? Like, Mel Gibson's horrible. But Passion of the Christ, one of the greatest movies ever made.
Don't be in a car with him in Hollywood.
Oh my God.
Don't be in
All right.
car with Billy Joel in the Hamptons.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I was chased off of
Twice.
Billy Joel's property in the Hamptons. You know that, right?
What's that? I'm sorry.
I was chased off of Billy Joel's property in the Hamptons.
Were you?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Mateo and I went to the beach. Beach is gorgeous, right? There's this beautiful home with these big glass windows overlooking, and then everything, but away from the beach, everything's giant. Those giant shrubs that block everything. Like the Hamptons is so beautiful, but only if you're invited to go places.
Of course.
You can't see nothing, right? And then all the commoners like live like in mobile home areas and stuff. It's so funny. So anyhow, so we push our way through some bushes, and there's this giant, maybe 12,000 square foot home, you know, with the seaside boarding on the edge, you know, that's good for when you live near the ocean. And we're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Mateo and I are just looking, and not 10 seconds, this dude comes out of nowhere and is like, what are you doing here? You have to go. And I was like, oh my God, he goes, you just nothing. Get out of here the way you came in.
Yeah.
Did you run away saying, we didn't start the fire?
No, of course not. I was doing. I've never been so freaking scared in my life. This
It's
dude
always been burning since the
materialized.
world's been turning.
Hey, what's
Dude,
wild to me?
imagine- Dude, remember when the movie theater lady just appeared out of nowhere?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
it was like that. This dude just appeared out of nowhere.
Well, what's wild to me with the Billy Joel thing is not excusing it, not trying to downplay it, but like got drunk one night, right, in the Hamptons, like many celebrities probably before and since. Drove his car, hit somebody's house, demolished the whole front half of the house.
Yep.
And got away with it because he's a celebrity and has a ton of money. He's like, look, I'm really sorry. When he sobered up or whatever, I will rebuild your house. Did that, right?
Yep.
Happened again. Did it a second time.
Yeah, but there was 10 years. There was 10 years in between the two incidents.
Still.
Yeah, I think at that time-
This was like 10 years of good drunk driving.
Yeah.
With as much money as he has, I think at that point you'd be like, all right, I'm going to have a driver from now on.
For real.
I think he does have a driver from now on. I think he does.
All right, round the table. We need your scores. Green shirt guy, you're up first.
9. This is a 9. I love this movie. Oh, it makes me cry every year. I think the writing is amazing. The performances are great. There's almost little to no wasted time on screen. It feels long in spots, but that's because it's all exposition to get you to that last section. But yeah, I give it a 9.
Okay. Phil?
Also, yeah, I think a 9. A 9 is like kind of fitting.
Okay. Cliff?
I mean, it's Christmas after all. I'll give it a 9.
Okay. I'm going to give it an 8.5 just to be that guy.
Well, I was leaning towards an 8 because like this is not a must-watch for me. Like, but I still enjoy it very much. And as you heard me going on and on, I still absolutely love Donna Reed.
She's great in this. She
Really
great.
is.
Oh, yeah. It's phenomenal. We got two tens. Aggressively relaxing says perfect 10. This art is doing everything it wanted, and it did it with style.
I can't give it a 10. I want
Unless
to, but
Cruz
I can't
gives it a
quite
10.
get there.
Listen,
but yeah. 9 for me is really high, and you guys know
9 is high, but I gotta say, if we're gonna go for production value and we have to factor in the year it was made,
Oh, don't disagree.
then it's really a 10. It's
it
a
would
10.
definitely be a
Remember,
10. Like writing
space
is
scene.
definitely
Remember the space scene? You
like a
remember the
10.
space scene from the beginning?
Yeah,
with the stars talking.
But it's like some foam, like moon, like going. They have like a travel through space, but it's like a foam, like moon.
Man, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
me and Kumar were like, "Whoa, okay, that's."
Well, listen, it was the best they had at the time, right? They didn't have CGI; they had artists and sculptors, and they're like, "Get to work."
It was great. It was great. All right, so that's about a 9 for a movie. What are we watching next week? Next Sunday, New Year's.
It's a
Eve.
new year. It should be a new us.
well, we should look at doing like a New Year's spec. We'll do that for
Rebel
next-
Moon.
Oh God, no. Don't be-
He said, "God no!" Oh my God, is it
No,
that
go,
bad?
go watch Rebel Moon.
I've watched
no.
about
We
half of
watched
it. Every
it.
time I watch it, I'm trying to watch it like 11 o'clock at night, keep falling asleep. The part I watch it's okay.
That that's a good review of her. It's okay. Yeah, like it's just
Oh my God! You know what? Should we, for the new year, should we do the Lord of the Rings?
I will. I'm in the middle of watching them. I will go back and
So,
rewatch.
Fellowship of the Ring next week.
I watched
Yeah,
all
Fellowship
the
of the
Hobbits this
Ring.
week. I'm halfway through Two Towers today.
Now
I'll
do we watch regular or extended editions?
Ooh.
Extended.
Yeah,
Wait. Do we start with Lord of the Rings or do we start with The Hobbit?
No.
No, we start with Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
I like The Hobbit. I enjoyed.
I like
The
the Hobbit too. It did-
I mean, I like it, but I mean, then we'll be doing this forever. But I think for the new year, I think it'd be nice if we kick it off with the 3 films.
All right. So you have it,
Are we
Council.
watching all 3, or we're just watching Fellowship?
No, just one at a
Let's do
time.
Fellowship, and then we'll do the 2 Towers, and then
Okay.
Oh,
I'll
are we
watch it
doing
again.
trilogies
I
this
watched it
year?
yesterday, but I'll watch it again.
Shall we do
Yeah.
trilogies this year?
oh my gosh, should we only do trilogies
I
this year?
really would
Indiana
like us to
Jones.
do the Bond
Yeah.
films at some point, but I know you guys don't love them all.
I could do the Bond.
We can do the
movie.
Bond films, but let's do a 3-part, like 3 of this. You can either do 3 different Bonds or 3 Bonds that match up.
Or we could
Oh.
do each. I mean, because there's very few where the actor does more than 3. We could do each actor at some point too, if we want to do that way too.
Good. I like this.
But we'd have to split it up because I think Connery does like 6 in a row, and then
I like this. All right. So your homework for next week, Council. Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. Do you guys know there's a new Lord of the Rings animated movie coming out this year? 2024?
I think there is.
Yes.
Of
yes.
what?
It's a prequel to these movies. The War of
I didn't know it was
Ren,
animated,
something like
so
that.
I knew there
It's
was a new Lord of the Rings movie.
It's
and I
anime.
wondered how that was gonna be received.
It's anime style, yeah.
Anime style? Okay, yeah. I wondered
Yeah.
how that was. I didn't watch the other one, the Rings of Power. Did anybody watch?
I
that
love
one?
the Rings of
we
Power.
watched it. Yeah.
It was good.
Loved
Was
it.
Good?
Yeah, I loved it.
If you are attached to the source material, it will be a nightmare for you.
Yeah, it will
If
be a
you are
nightmare
not,
for you.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't get too
As long as
attached.
they don't do Silmarillion, which is long and a slog.
Well, Silmarillion is just like add-ons.
No, it's not.
Silmarillion most of Silmarillion is covered in the extended The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Mm,
They've
It's like an
reincorporated
appendices.
some of it is.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
a lot of
They're in
it,
appendices.
have you watched The Hobbit uncut, right? Or on extended,
Yeah.
I
right?
don't think
Absolutely.
I did.
I watched them this week.
The cat
Okay,
where
so
they
like
go
I
in
said,
the
a lot is covered.
necromancer is part of the Silmarillion. That's in the Hobbit. You know what I mean?
You don't get a
So,
whole lot of the elf story, but I will give you some of the
Yeah.
other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. All right. Next week, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Great.
What, are
great
we going
stuff coming.
extended? The big one, right? Let's go all
Gotta
in.
go extended. Wait,
Yeah,
but
you
here's
gotta
the
go
thing,
all in,
Devin,
right? Yeah.
The
Go
extended,
all in.
as much as everyone, it's only about 3 hours. It's not
Well,
like
I don't think Kamara has seen Lord of the Rings.
because I think Return of the King is closer to 4, but Fellowship's only about 3.
Yeah, there's 3 hours apiece. But they're great movies.
They are.
You know, I mean, we could use a little shortened down
haven't,
of the running across fields for 10 minutes.
I haven't
but-
run them on
You know what I
like my
mean?
home theater yet, so
Have you read the books?
Oh, I've
No,
read the
no,
but I
Yeah,
haven't
but
read the
you
movies.
You could shorten the books up with taking out all the singing. Because there's a lot of singing in the books that's not in the movies. That if you take those out, and they give you some context of things, but there's stuff in the books you're like, no, I get it. Let's move on with the actual.
Of course, you
and then
definitely made me watch them.
there's sections of the book too where you're like, he basically describes every blade of grass. I'm like, no, I got it. They're walking. Can we just say that they're walking? And so you're telling me about where the grass came from, how long if it's been growing, last time it was cut, how much sunlight. I got it. Let's just,
All right, my friends. That is today's show. We want to wish everybody a very, very, very Merry Christmas. We hope you're spending your Christmas Eve with friends and family and loved ones. If you're not, take our videos and watch them and spend them with us. We'll send you love through the videos. We love everybody for watching. Thank you guys so much for being so supportive this past year, for getting us to where we're at with the subscribers. For all of you that voted for us, you think we're funny? You really think we're funny?
I didn't put my award up today.
Look, he's getting good. It was only going to be for a few weeks. He's getting good. It's getting good. But we really
It's
want
off
to thank
camera,
everybody.
but mine's right there.
It's right there.
Yeah.
It's actually, you're right.
It's off camera.
So remember, there's no show tomorrow for Christmas. Enjoy. I'm sure there's other channels out there that have shows. You can enjoy them. We will be back next Sunday at 5 p.m. regular start time. We'll go over Fellowship of the Ring, and then Monday 8 p.m. for new keys and hot comics of the week. All right.
It'll be
So
a brand new year.
Yeah.
yeah, for new keys. Yeah, it'll be a new year, new keys. Excellent. All right.
Now,
so,
are we going to cover 2 weeks, or are we just going to go what's new next week?
no, just what's new.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah. So, for myself, for Phil, for Cliff, for Green Shirt Guy, and the rest of the Council of Comics, we love you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Merry Christmas.
Peace.
Christmas, everybody.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes?